or HDTV? You know the ones where a homeowner guts his house or puts a major addition on the back? Well, these projects aren't for everyone, but our guest today is an electrical engineer who recently took on the challenges of designing and constructing a 16 by 20 custom shed of his property in southern western Connecticut. The project took over a year to complete, and he'll join us today to tell us about it. The Humanities Communication Arts Department at Norwell Community College presents the New Director Show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Jessica Rivera, to meet the new next director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is an electrical engineer and NCC student who has always enjoyed carpentry and home improvement as a hobby. Recently, he took on a little more ambitious project, designing and building a 16 by 20 custom shed in the backyard of his home in Fairfield County. We'd like to welcome Doug Sutherland to our show today.
I'm very happy to be here.
So we understand that you recently had a chance to test your carpentry skills building a custom shed in your backyard. Can you tell us a little bit about how this came about and what it was like taking on such a big project?
Yes, well, I've always enjoyed working with my hands. I've always done a lot of home improvement projects around the house that involved carpentry, plumbing, electrical work. When my wife and I first got married, we came very close to building our first house, but in the end we bought an existing home. So I always had an itch to work on a bigger project than that. So over the years we began to fill our garage with more and more tools, and we ran out of room, and I wanted to buy a snowblower to help me out in the winter, and there wasn't any room. So the shed seemed to be the logical solution to that. Working on the shed was a lot of work, but I really enjoyed it. We spent a lot of time planning and designing the shed. We bought a plan online, customized it to match our home, and we decided to build the shed on a cement slab. So I drew up a slab design and hired a local mason to pour the foundation. Watching them work on the slab was really interesting. Masonry is not something that I do, and it was fun to watch them taking the raw cement and turning it into a nice smooth slab. Once the slab was poured, winter was coming on, and so we had to wait till next summer to begin work. And that's when the fun really began. We built the walls and we raised the roof in a couple of weekends, and it was very exciting looking back at the end of a long day and seeing what we had accomplished. Over the next few months, we shingled the roof, we nailed up sheathing, we installed windows and doors. We even added a copper-clad cupola with a weather vane on top. I installed a mortarless brick veneer product on the shed to match the brick on our house. After installing siding and putting on a coat of paint, I then did a little bit of landscaping, and then the project was complete. Looking back now, I kind of really miss working on it, but now I have room in my garage for my snowblower, and I have a lot of satisfaction knowing I did most of the work on this project myself.
Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Yes, well, outside of work, I'm very involved in local and national politics. And a few years ago, I joined the Fairfield chapter of a group called Democracy for America. And the person that runs this group, he came up with the idea of creating a public access cable TV show to highlight local issues. And he had taken several of the TV production courses here at NCC, and he suggested that I could take the TV1 course and then join their DFA TV production team. And so I signed up for the course.
What are some of the most useful things you've learned in the TV production course?
Well, first we learned how to use a video camera. I've been an amateur photographer most of my life, but I've never done a lot of work with a video camera outside of just point and shooting videos of my family and friends. So I gained an appreciation of how to use a video camera to get professional results. I learned the basic elements of composition, which are things that I've known about in still photography, but they apply equally well and are equally important for capturing video. I learned how to create a basic video sequence. This was something that I had never done before, and in the process of that I learned how to do video editing using Avid. And finally, I learned about live TV production in the studio. We got to learn all of the different jobs involved in putting together a TV show, directing, camera work, running the soundboard and the teleprompter, running the switcher, the title machine, the Avid machine. And doing all this, I really gained an understanding of how important teamwork is in this effort.
Tell us about the productions you created for the TV1 class, the Learning Project, the Action Sequence, the New England Seasonal Project, and the Orange Project.
Yes, well, the first project was a basic learning project that was to familiarize us with the video camera and learning the basic video shots. The long shot, the medium shot, the close-up, the one shot, the two shot, over-the-shoulder shots. We also learned about how to control the camera, how to adjust the aperture, how to adjust focus, and how to make use of depth of field in order to compose our pictures and focus the audience's attention on what we wanted them to see. Next, we used what we had learned to make a basic video action sequence showing someone doing something. I made a storyboard, sketched camera positions, and used basic video techniques like cutting on the action and close-ups to let the audience see what was actually taking place. Using Avid, I then edited the shots into a complete sequence. The third project was the Winter Project. In this project, I used what I had learned to create an artistic nature video. I had to demonstrate the 6 guidelines of good composition, simplifying the scene, the rule of thirds, using lines of grace and emotional lines, and framing techniques. I used camera techniques such as the poor man's dissolve and the rack focus, and continuous zoom ins and outs. I then edited these shots together and added titles and music. It was a lot of fun, and I was very pleased with the final result. In the Orange Project, I had to put it all together to produce a 3 to 4 minute video production about someone finding an orange and then losing an orange. I had to write a short screenplay, create a storyboard, select shot locations, camera angles, and find talent. I shot the video in my kitchen with my wife playing the lead role.
Now, I know you had one project that you felt was your best. Tell us about it while we watch a sample of the video with the music you selected.
Yes, the Orange Project was probably my best project. Let's watch a little bit of it. It took me a long time to come up with a story about finding and losing an orange. Since I'd never done anything like this before, I decided to keep it simple. I used my wife as the main character, and most of the action in the story took place in our kitchen. I created a storyboard and sketched out basic camera positions, assigned camera positions to each shot in the storyboard, and I then shot all the scenes from a given position without moving the camera. This made things move along rather quickly. Once all the shots were captured, I used Avid to edit them all together and add music and sound effects. It's not perfect, but for my first video production, I think it turned out pretty good.
You mentioned the variety of things you've learned in the course. What was the most important skill you learned, and how will you put it to use?
Well, it's hard to single out one thing that was the most important or the most interesting. I learned a lot of things in this course about video production. Probably the most interesting thing would be the editing of video using Avid. I think after editing these projects for the course, I'm ready to join the DFA TV crew and start producing videos for our public access cable TV show. It's going to be a progressive show, and we're calling it Stream of Conscience. So I hope you'll look for it on Cablevision coming in a few months.
Absolutely. Today we got to meet someone who has a wide range of interests, from engineering to carpentry to local and national politics. We learned a little about his experience building a custom shed in his backyard. As a new TV director, he also hopes to apply what he has learned at NCC to create a public access cable TV show to highlight progressive issues in the local community. He also hopes to continue to hone his videographer skills and apply them to other private and political activities that may come his way. We'd like to thank our guest, Doug Sutherland, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you enjoyed meeting some of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to watch us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
This has been the New Directors with your host, Jessica Rivera, directed by Dominic Cavito. And I'm your announcer, Taylor Hill. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student